Ever had one of those nights where everything feels off? People acting strange and someone inevitably says, "Must be a full moon." But here's the truth. The moon doesn't make people act weird. No spike in crimes, injuries, or chaos. That said, the moon does have some fascinating effects on Earth and its inhabitants. So let's dive into 7 full moon myths and facts, and separate science from superstition. 1. The full moon messes with your sleep. If you've ever struggled to sleep under the glow of a full moon, you're not alone. Studies show people take longer to fall asleep, sleep fewer minutes, and get less deep REM sleep during a full moon. But here's the twist. It's not just the moonlight. In a 2013 study, volunteers slept in labs with no moonlight exposure, yet they still experienced disrupted sleep during the full moon. Researchers think humans might have a circulunar rhythm, a biological cycle synced to the moon, much like our daily circadian rhythm. Could this be an evolutionary leftover? Maybe. After all, many animals sync their behavior to the moon for mating or hunting. 2. The moon's magnetic influence on sea slugs. Some animals, like migratory birds and sea slugs, use Earth's magnetic field to navigate, a skill called magnetoreception. Take nudibranchs, for example. These colorful sea slugs align their bodies with Earth's magnetic field, but they also adjust their orientation based on the moon's phase. Why? During a full moon, the moon passes through Earth's geomagnetic tail, a stretch of magnetic field influenced by solar particles. This creates subtle shifts in the magnetic field. Shifts so small we don't notice them, but nudibranchs do. It's a tiny cosmic dance, and these slugs are tuned in. 3. The Great Barrier Reef's annual sex festival. Yes, you read that right. Once a year, Australia's Great Barrier Reef hosts a massive synchronized spawning event. Corals release eggs and sperm into the water, creating an underwater snowstorm of life. This spectacle happens a few days after a full moon, when tides, temperature, and salinity are just right. Corals have photoreceptors that detect changes in blue moonlight, signaling it's time to spawn. It's nature's way of maximizing fertilization, and it's as weird as it is beautiful. 4. Atmospheric tides. The moon's hidden. We all know the moon creates ocean tides, but did you know it also creates atmospheric tides? Just like the ocean, the moon's gravity pulls the atmosphere, creating bulges of higher pressure air. This warmer air holds more moisture, making it harder for clouds to form rain. A 2016 study analyzing 15 years of rainfall data found a slight decrease in rain where the moon was directly overhead. It's a small effect, but it shows the moon's influence extends far beyond the sea. 5. Scorpions. The moon's glow-in-the-dark detectives scorpions glow under UV light, including moonlight. But why? A 2010 study found that scorpions use their glow to detect UV levels. When exposed to UV light, they glow green, which helps them decide whether to forage or hide. The more they glow, the more UV light is present, signaling it's time to seek shelter. It's like they're using their bodies as photon collectors, a bizarre but brilliant survival tactic. 6. Seizures and the moon. A surprising link. The idea that full moons trigger seizures is a myth, but there's a twist. A 2004 study found that epileptic seizures were actually lowest during a full moon and highest during the last quarter. A follow-up study suggested this might be linked to nighttime light levels, not the moon itself. Darker nights could affect melatonin production, potentially influencing seizure activity. 7. Dung beetles. Moonlight navigators. Dung beetles are famous for rolling poop into balls, but they're also moonlight experts. At sunset, they use polarized sunlight to navigate in straight lines. But during a full moon, they switch to moonlight's polarization, a much dimmer signal. Even a crescent moon is enough for them to map a straight path. It's a remarkable feat of navigation, proving even the smallest creatures are tuned into the moon's rhythms. The moon's influence on Earth is wilder than any myth. From sea slugs to scorpions, it shapes life in ways we're only beginning to understand. Thanks for watching this episode.